Daybreak News, presented by the Consigli Ruggiero Funeral Home, Water Street in Milford. Our in-studio guest this morning, School Superintendent in Milford, Bob Tremblay. Good morning.
Ed, good morning.
Cold ride over, I suppose?
Yeah, well, it's only 4 miles away, so my car might be warm now.
There you go. Several issues to talk about. Budget. You're going to be working on that if you haven't started it already. How does it look right now?
Yeah, we started the process actually back in October. As I mentioned in the previous show, we really have that 1 month of respite, from September, and then we start in October. So we've gone through the budget defense meetings. So the central office team sits with the principals, and we go through line by line. We don't assume that last year's budget's the same as this year. Add some percentage to it. We don't build it that way. Build it from the ground up, saying what is it you absolutely need this year? What are your priorities? And we go through it line by line and build it up from zero.
And the meetings with the principals are important because they can tell you firsthand.
They do, and we ask them, and we really go through and scrutinize each line, and they give us the rationale for, well, we need this new teacher, or we need this new textbook because it's 30 years old, or whatever it might be. And then we work with the principals to prioritize all of those needs. That's the first step in the vetting process. That's been obviously completed, and we finished that up back before the holidays. The next step was to bring the school committee in, and we did that a longer meeting on a weekend. We had a longer block of time, and we went through all of the principals' initiatives and what the central office recommendations were about those initiatives, and talked to the school committee about what all the needs were for the budget. So that's where we are in the process. We are now, we've met with the finance, some members of the finance committee of the education subcommittee, and then we'll have further discussions. Once we have a better idea what the governor's going to do, the governor's budget, and the House budgets, how those get resolved, and then whatever directive we have from the finance committee to work with them, and that's the next step. So we're right on where we ought to be in the process, maybe even a little ahead.
Do you see an increase?
Yeah, there'll be an increase. You have contractual increases of salaries, those kinds of things that are built in. Some special education, of course. Every year we have these sort of mandates around special education, and our growing population of English language learners in Milford is a cost.
Are textbooks becoming a thing of the past?
They are. I wrestle with this one. I'm sort of old school about.
Because you've talked to us about this before.
Kids
you didn't want to jump right on the bandwagon of tech.
Right. I'm as much as I like to be a trendsetter in some other programs that I've envisioned for the district. This is not one area that I want to be out there ahead of the curve because.
But why?
I think there's just a lot of unanswered questions about. Is it a cost-effective replacement of textbooks? Is it sustainable? Do kids, when they learn on an iPad exclusively, if that were the approach, can they then go to college and then have to have book skills in a research library? Are they missing something? Or there's certain things about reading a book that I think our students need to have available to them. So I'm really somewhere in between. I believe there's a need for technology, and to have kids use one-to-one devices, and we're going to look at that as part of a strategic plan.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think we have to hold on to the sort of the roots of the basic 3 R's, and I think part of that is having a book in your hand. So for me, it's a balance of the two. It may well be a thing of the past. I don't want to be the last guy, to jump on board with the technology, but I certainly don't want to be the first. I want to let people figure out all the mistakes, and then once they figure those out, we'll apply it in Milford.
One of the issues too is iPads change so quickly that you may buy something and, like a textbook, 2 years down the road, it's obsolete.
Right. Well, if you're doing something like maybe in science or math, that's not going to change much. But social studies textbooks might be a good place where if the technology would allow us to access, if you bought a textbook in the 1980s and you use that textbook, you're expecting to use it for 10 years, you could well be talking about in East and West Germany,
way out of date stuff.
Way out of date stuff, and it should change in a matter of a day. So it's one of those kinds of dilemmas. I think if the area we were to look at to make it, the most current would be something around social studies, history, somewhere in there.
Hospitality management tourism course. This is moving along toward an implementation in September of this year. Your innovative idea for this, you have a breakfast meeting a week from today. Tell me just where this course is now and the students that are going to participate.
Yeah.
We had a good response.
We had a great response to this. I'm really excited about this program. It'll be the first of its kind, Ed. There's no, that we're aware of, there is no vocational program like this within a public comprehensive high school in Massachusetts. So this is a hospitality and tourism management program. which, that's a huge umbrella. And under that umbrella is culinary. So the Milford Schools is not pursuing the culinary. Blackstone Valley Tech does that extraordinarily well, as do others. We visited a number of school sites. In any event, this industry allows our kids another opportunity to explore a career path in this industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, one of the largest industries in the world. We had 34 applicants from Milford High School. Remember, we're targeting the sophomore class. It's a 2-year program. It's a 2-year commitment into this program, and it's a very customized schedule for these students. So on Friday of next week, we've invited our program advisory group. We've invited local media like yourself, and we've invited, of course, our students, and to recognize our very first cohort of these hospitality and tourism management students. To welcome them, our partner, we have a couple of partners in town, the Doubletree by Hilton, and we also have Atlas Travel, and we've been solicited by other hotels in the area saying we've heard about this, we've read about this, we want in. But right now we want to keep it small. We want to build the program so it's successful in its first year and then begin to expand it. But imagine if you're a high school kid and you're a sophomore, and maybe the traditional high school path isn't right for you.
Correct.
Let's be honest, it's not right for everybody. And whether you're college bound or not, maybe high school doesn't work for you. This program would allow you to have some traditional face-to-face with your classroom teacher classes. It would allow you to have some virtual high school, sort of, a hybrid learning, and then you'd have the field work, the very thing that's attractive to students who go to BBT or Norfolk Aggie. They have that hands-on, how can I take what I've learned today and apply it tomorrow? And that's what this program allows. But even better than that, so besides it being inherently motivating, a high school senior now, having completed this course of study for 2 years, leaves with a high school diploma. You're not looking at a certificate of completion. It's a high school diploma, a certification from the American Hotel and Lodging Association, and if you're through our Hilton program, a Hilton certification. So now go to college, and now you want to have a work-study job, you want to do something to help pay your way. Well, why not work as the front desk at a Sheraton or a Marriott or
and they know you have this expertise.
And you have this expertise. You're going to have a leg up. And you'll have a higher, and if you choose not to go to college, and this is an industry that you really enjoy, there's terrific opportunity for upward mobility in that industry, and it's around the world. So a lot of the kids, you had to see the essays about that I've read. That this program, I believe this program will change my life. It's just what I need to get me on the right track. And I watched some of these student interviews. They dressed up, with a tie, and they came in, and these kids had never interviewed before. Yeah. And it was just great. So we had about 34 applicants, and I suspect that it will grow over the years. We're looking for about 20 to 24 kids. So it's going to be a selective process.
Woodland School Project, why now?
Well, this is a long overdue project.
A decade or so.
Yeah, at least. This is the last, what I call the capstone project in the town's long-range educational plan. It's been supported by school committees, by school building committees past. Now is the time because we have the reimbursement, particularly from the Massachusetts School Building Authority. We don't have that exact number. It's it's a range in there because there's a lot of green initiatives and things that may boost those reimbursement points. We've been submitting a statement of interest every year since I've been in this role. Certainly Tom Davern before me. Yep. And finally, the Massachusetts School Building Authority said, we're ready to invite you into our capital pipeline, and we're going to help pay for that school. If we say no now, the likelihood of us going and back to them and saying, okay, we're ready to do it this year, is probably pretty slim. I can't say they would never consider a project like that, but given that we've been trying this for 7 years, and they finally invited us in to get to this point and now say, we're not ready, it doesn't show good faith on our part to the School Building Authority, who's going to pay half the bill.
Special presentation tonight, a musical featuring staff. Tell me.
Yeah, this is it came up in the summertime. Karen Wilson, who teaches music at Stacy Middle School, Nadine Pomeroy, director of music, they wanted to come up with an idea that would be, we really want to showcase our fine and performing arts. And I had challenged the music department to say, we want to put our best foot forward. We want to show the community that we don't just teach in our area, we also are proficient, if not, professional in our areas. Mm-hmm. And so we have a mix of our own music staff. Just about everybody in the music staff is in this show.
You?
Yeah, well, my background is in music. So
what are you going to do?
I'm playing trumpet. I'm not an on-stage guy.
Yeah.
I do it like you behind.
I was going to have you do a song and dance or sing for me or something. Want to sing a little for me?
Do everybody the favor. And
Sing a
I
little
won't
bit.
do that. So I'll be in the pit orchestra. But what's great is we have school nurses, we have teaching assistants, we have classroom teachers.
Scott Harrison
from the school committee is at a leading role. As a general in this show. It's in some leading songs. It's just, if you have a chance to come out and see it, it's called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. It was made popular on Broadway by Nathan
long time
Lane.
ago. Yeah,
it's been around for a lot of years. It's a great show, and it's all faculty and staff in the pit and on stage and in the tech and in the lights and on the sound. And we're just going to be more pleased to bring the school together this way.
Have there been rehearsals? This must be something.
Oh yeah, this week alone we probably logged 40 hours of rehearsals, but they started back in September.
Yeah.
Learning the scripts. I'm just so impressed as I sit in the orchestra last night, looking up on the stage to see, one of the leads in the show, and she's up there singing, and she has 3 hours worth of lines to memorize. And plus her day job, it's incredible to me that we have this talent.
The commitment that they've made.
Yeah, if you have a chance to come out, and I know it's past your bedtime, but it's a weekend, so maybe you can come out.
What time is the show?
It's at 7 o'clock tonight, and it's at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. It's $10 a ticket. For children, it's $5.
At the high school.
Yeah, and all the benefits is, no one's being paid for this. Everyone's volunteering to do this. We've had some families in the past that have lost their homes to fires, and this is a way for the staff to reach back and help those families and have a fund to whatever little we can do to help a family who's in dire straits.
Sounds like a good time.
It'll be a great show.
All right, very good. Bob, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks. A lot of information to cover this morning.
That's right. Thank you very much. Our guest, Milford School Superintendent Bob Tremblay. This has been Daybreak News. Ed Thompson reporting.